Hey everyone, welcome back to more Star Dynasties. I'm DisturbingPuppet. We're continuing here with the Scrooge Sovereignty. So we are holding together fairly well. We have expanded a little bit out. At least the Galloways have expanded out to here. We've got a couple empty sectors here, which is why there's kind of this weird gap. But yeah, as you can kind of see if we zoom out, things have kind of broken apart over here pretty badly. But the Fields Union down here sort of gobbled up what was the Jordan Collective. There was like Jordans and then Lynn's, and they joined at one point, then they broke apart, then the Jordans were stronger, and now the Fields Union just gobbled up everybody. I'm trying to improve my relations with the Fieldses and with the Jordan colonies in general. We are doing a variety of different things around. We are generally well liked. My initial starting leader here is getting a bit older, so Ebenezer is now 54. Probably have another decade of running him out. I'm hoping we could try to pick up some pieces here, but I don't think anybody is going to be interested in joining us. The Lindsays are looking quite weak. I've probably checked them before just to see. Yeah, they're not interested. Well, that was vassalage. There's another step, I think. Submission, but we can't. Unfortunate. And no one else is really willing to join us either. We don't share borders with a lot of people, so that kind of limits our options as well. So we are trying to sort of advance out. But my vassals can do that independently too. Yeah, we don't have a border, so I can't do anything there. So we are kind of locked in with our borders by the Tanners over here. We did expand out to take the farmers, who are now kind of infighting, unfortunately. And we could eventually make moves out this way, but because of the way the star lanes work, we don't have a lot of connections to everybody else. As far as expansion opportunities, we do have ways to potentially grab the Blackwells later, but not in my ruler's lifetime, the current ruler. But as we progress down through the generations, possibly. I'm hoping we can take advantage of things breaking up. If we have enough money, that might increase our chances of people willing to do stuff, because they'll do it in exchange for cash. I mean, anybody will do stuff in exchange for cash if you offer them enough. But we do kind of need to expand out so we have those direct connections to even have the option. The Tanners here are still pretty strong. They're not interested in joining us or anything, even though we are generally well liked, and they are fairly weak. They don't have any interest at all in joining our coalition. I think they have one minor other group underneath them, but I'm not sure. Kind of the way this is broken up. They lost the Arlanos, who've now gone independent, and it's all broken apart. But we're just sort of cruising along. So what are we doing right now? We are rebuilding our fleets around. Just to check on that really quick. 153 out of 205 for our personal main fleet. We're rebuilding the fleets here on Izar for the Galloways. We're working on improving in Arcturus as well, because I think their fleet was like totally wiped out. Knocking down some unrest, although it's not bad in Parima. It does make him happy. We're doing that at the moment. It was higher earlier. Saddle Malik here is quite weak, but I don't think they're at war with anybody. Yeah, the Galloways are fine, but there is kind of this weird fighting going on. So the farmers are at war with the Fields Union, who broke away from them, but they're still under us. They probably will retake it. But they're also at war with the Jordan colonies, but them only. I don't know. I mean, like, they can get through here. They do have a connection to try to come in, but I will probably help them defend if that's the case. Not much else we can do. Just kind of cruising along. Let's, actually, is it going to be next turn? 2 turns to the next event. Let's see what we have going on. Flare up of descent down there. Fine, not a big deal. Doesn't concern me. A cache of shipping manifests and stamped goods have been unearthed that suggest Yilden may have once been a member of the Scrooge Sovereignty. This weakens the Field Union's hold on Yilden, and we've gained a weak claim on Yilden. So that's our claim directly. Well, all of a sudden I'm bald. So apparently you turn 55 and you lose all your hair. So Shane Joyce demanded that the acting Archon press an unknown person's claim on some system over there, not anything related to me. She refused. She rebelled. So that's a way we could possibly pick up Mizam. Although they're still at war with them, so even if they came under me, they still have a right to reclaim it. Archon Lin gave Avior to Conan Pineda, who is the Jordan colony's head, this system in exchange for some cash. The Lin's getting quite a bit weaker. He gave them a system in exchange for money. That's why money is good. If we can stockpile enough of it, we can start making moves that way. Son-in-law is fully recovered. Good. Let's stop the medical treatment. Duchess Fields charged you with avenging Archon Jana Fields' crime, the disinheritance of Nura Fields. Why are you asking me this? Because you are her master. Duchess Nura Fields. Okay, so I have Fields as in my territory. Jana Fields. Did that just happen? The acting Archon. I don't think there's much I can do about it. But, so he disinherited the heiress who's living over here on this system inside my territory. Weird. Okay. All I can do is declare war on him. Let's think about this later. I don't want to declare war. Nibos Scrooge is dead. That was my niece's husband. I wish it would show the age when they died. Duchess Jarvis gave Saddle Melik to Selma Tanner. Why would you do that? Why? I know it was for 160 bucks. You could have given it to me. Like, I was doing stuff to help improve Saddle Melik and improve relations with the guy there. Maybe she got rid of it because of that. You don't have to deal with the crimes against the Blackwells because she got rid of him. Alright, maybe that's why. People demanding various different claims. Another rebellion against the Tanners. So 2 systems go in rebellion. You're probably a diplomat, fine. Nobles and commoners alike are complaining about crime and decrux. For the 2 classes to be in agreement, perhaps it's time to take a closer look at how Scrooge's military peacekeeping force. Yeah, we could spend some money and deal with it, I guess. With your nephew's help, you investigate the crime situation, how Scrooge is not fielding a respectable military peacekeeping force on Decrux, malfunctioning equipment, overly corrupt officers. There's work to be done if you want a force to be proud of. So we could have somebody do it, or I could spend cash to throw cash at the problem. You're pretty general. I'm not sure which is the better approach. Let's have my admiral deal with the situation. Even if he has a tough time trying to implement effective reforms, some of the worst elements have been excised, but the corruption runs deep. That will have to do for now. So we don't get any negatives or positives out of that. Found out that Pineda frittered away House Jordan's wealth by gambling. Okay, another little secret. Nothing too major. Well, unfortunate. The Duchess here caught Barry Farmer trying to spread dissent. All right. I mean, that's not good for you, buddy. Izar, lower taxes. Fine. So the Tanners are looking quite weak. The Fields and Bray have strengthened their alliance. I might be able to get, because of things falling apart for the Tanners, I wonder if I could get the Tanners. I don't have a direct border with them anymore. She raised taxes. We've got somebody we can appoint a guardian for. Um, yeah, she's not interested. Things have kind of fallen apart. I don't have direct access, though, even if I wanted to do something here. Surprised she's not interested, because we could offer her money in exchange, and she's quite weak at this point. We could try to pick up these two, though, but, well, I think we can only get this one because they don't share a border. But most likely, being next to their capital, she can pretty effectively send her military out and retake those two. Well, she's only got 38 ships. So, actually, this might be a good opportunity to make a push up there, one way or the other. Was the guy who died on my council? No. Okay, so we're fine there. I feel like my security has gone way down. It's down because I'm unhappy, but this turn I'm happy, so it'll go back up, so that's fine. Somebody's not doing anything. Daughter-in-law. I think she was helping deal with the unrest on Saddle Melik, something like that. So what are my options? So she's charged us for disinheriting the same person twice. But the only thing I can do is declare war. That's it. And that's on the Fields Union as a whole. I don't think it's the Fields Union specifically. I think it's the Fields Union at large, which is definitely a problem. Some intermarriage stuff going on. Yeah, Timothy's down here running my spy operation, I think, or is he... No, he's improving relations. Yeah, I don't know that I want to go to war with the Fields. I don't know that she's even going to be in charge very long if the farmers come in and take this back. They would probably depose her and kick her out. Well, I've got a lot... Well, I don't have a lot of actions, actually. Bella, my granddaughter, could use somebody to be her guardian. Doesn't take much. My wife is an option. I think my wife is a good option. My niece isn't bad. She's really good security. Let's have her do it. Let's see if I can pick these guys up. Pretty much neutral opinion. She'll accept if we ask politely, so I feel like we should ask politely. So we take that. I don't have enough to ask somebody else. I don't think we could for the burgers anyway. Yeah, since we don't have a border. We'd have to have Omicron Piscium to do that. I don't know that I can get much in the way of fleets out here to help out. Yeah, you should like me more. How's your fleet looking? I mean, it's only 10 maximum. I can get about 80 ships out here. Potentially about 100 ships. She can only get about 30. If she did try to retake it, if I help her defend, that's pretty much all over for her. Not ready to go to war with the Fields at this particular moment. How much longer do I have to deal with that? Only a couple turns, it looks like. Next turn, possibly, I'll have to do something about that. What are we going to do with you? What are we going to do? We are rebuilding fleets already. That's kind of... That and dealing with dissent is kind of our main thing. Unrest is kind of bad down there at 44. 51. Tell you what, let's help them out. Send her because she's not doing anything. Keep the unrest under control. I think I'm going to have to declare war on the Fields Union here, or she's going to cause some problems. But like I said, it might resolve anyway if the farmers attack and take out the Fields Union and take that back over and depose her, then that's the problem taken care of all by itself. Pretty much out of actions, so we'll have to just call it at that point. So we have expanded slightly. We'll defend that if they do try to come after it. We'll have an event here coming up next turn anyway. Barracks and Izar have been repaired. Plus 20 of their military, so I think we were doing that just to help them out. Baron Fields wants marriage between Commissioner Verley Scrooge and Baron Heir Sarayed Hobbs. So she would leave, though, for that to happen. And she's currently on my council, so I don't really want to lose her. She's my security expert. I'm going to have to say no, I think. It's not really worth any amount of money, honestly. Okay. Fields don't do anything about his crimes. Fine. Wasada Lin has invited you to attend a feast for Barry Farmer. That's odd. Why are you throwing a feast for Barry Farmer? We'll accept. Sure. Do I want to compete? I'm getting older, but sure. I'll compete. Russell Harrell is not a good fighter, so should be fine. We've defeated him. Baron Floyd, pretty good fighter. We'll just fight normally. He defeated us. That's too bad. So we don't get any honors because we didn't perform well enough. I don't know why he's throwing something for Barry Farmer. That's odd. I feel like he's trying to woo him away from us or something. So, Pineda's attempted to depose the Palmers. They were like, nope, and have rebelled. See how long that lasts. Isn't that the system he just bought from the Lins? So they have rebelled. Son-in-law's ill. Thad is sick. Is he the same one that was sick before? I think he was. So Selma Tanner's charged you with avenging her crime, rebelling against the Archon. Yeah, I can deal with it. We'll just give her a little fine or something. So this would resolve it. That's what the little scroll is. She might get mad, though, about it. We'll just do, like, a normal fine. She might still be grumpy about it, but she'll be less grumpy about it. You could be a spy. You're a diplomat. We found an ancient trade vessel, centuries old, with such incredible weapons aboard. Roxanne Scrooge grins as she handles a pre-collapsed laser rifle. Marvelous, she gasps, pointing the deadly weapon at a dozen critical points in the ship's hull. There are 5 in all. I'm entitled to keep this one for myself, surely. My niece. You're not a military person. Fickle, cowardly, and kind. Odd combination. I don't know that I want to give it to her. She's not really that important. There's a chance she gets a bonus to military. 67% chance this may have negative consequences. Yeah, no. This is an affront. Give laser rifle. Your scientists examined the weapons. According to a shipping manifest Roxanne Scrooge found, these rifles were manufactured by the pre-collapse firm Nova Corp, were en route to the Interstellar Authority Outpost 1599A. They were earmarked for peacekeeping efforts. Need cooperation, not weapons. +5 to diplomacy. Yeah, let's dismantle one to discover how they function. We should demonstrate the power of these weapons on a common criminal. Kelly Raymond insists the laser rifles would strike fear into the populace of DeCrux. Timothy Scrooge slams his palm on the council table. Madness! By all means demonstrate their power, but we can't incinerate our own people, even a criminal. So it's either execute a criminal or destroy a non-human target. I think that's fine. I don't think we need to kill anybody. You raise a dozen training dummies in demonstration of the rifle's power, so we get a little bit more famous. Laser rifle demonstration. I still have a laser rifle as well. I have 4 laser rifles that can be given as gifts. Huh. I'd almost rather use them for some kind of improvement in our stats or something. Changing who's the heir up there, fine. Wait, just happened over here. Oh, this just routed a lung outbreak. Okay. So a bit of a rebellion going on. The fields are still looking pretty strong. No one's dealt with my whole issue over here. I'm worried she might rebel. She's just going to get angry at me if I don't do anything about it. Like, I understand her concern, but going to war with a very large union is not really ideal. We could maybe try to make a push in. Like, we might, if we're lucky, be able to try to go after Massam. Especially if I bought mercenaries. Like, there's a chance there that we could take and hold Massam, maybe. But it's a big maybe. Just out of curiosity, I don't suppose you would like to join? Absolutely not interested. Can't ask them because we don't share a border. I feel like the Tanners have gotten so weak, I don't know why they're not interested in joining up with us at this point. I could demand it, she'd refuse, and then we'd go to war, and then I'd have a reason to kind of go in and take over at least these systems. But when I'm looking at potentially fighting against the fields, I'm not sure I want to do that either. We've got the money, we could go ahead and build something. How much does it cost to give myself a laser rifle? Well, it's free. +5 to general opinion, +4 to military, +2 to security. Sure, give myself a laser rifle. You imagine the skirmishes you could fight with this fearsome weapon. We still have 3 more. I'm tempted to give one to my heir, but she's kind of been a bit of a wild card, honestly. We do have somebody who's sick, don't we? Thad. Let's get him some medical treatment. Somewhere in this long list of stuff. Medical attention. Apparently I don't have a lot of good options here. Yeah, stop worrying about the fleet and Izar. Let's see if you can do some... I think the guy who died before was kind of my main tech person who was providing medical support. My daughter, who is super good at tech, is mainly training my heir. Sure, travel if you have to. With our tech level, it's pretty unlikely we should be getting sick or dying, just generally. So I'm at the point where I kind of have to do something here. She is a distant relative. So that does weigh slightly on it. Do I have any dirt on her? Or him, Jana? No, I don't. If I had blackmail material, I could release that, it seems like, and that would help account for some of that. They want to become part of the Lin Collective. They were before. I think we could probably push and take Massam. Well, it's only got one installation, so if we fought over it, it would probably be destroyed. I might give Mitch a laser rifle as well, since he is the head of my fleet. Bonus to military insecurity. Yeah, I'm going to give him a laser rifle as well. I'm going to save the other two. I don't know how long I'm going to be alive, so that's a whole other thing. I'm not sure about building up. I'd like to build some stuff. We've got some things on Crux I can still build, or other places inside. You've only got 3 installations. We could definitely build up Mirzam, too. I partially resolve this. We can fully resolve it. No, leveling a fine's too much. So we've done enough, basically. She'll get mad at us, but it's not too big of a deal. If I'm going to declare war on the fields, I don't really want to push much else. I kind of feel like it's a good time to take on the Tanners and force them to join up militarily if we had to sort of expand into this fracturing mess over here. If I'm going to do that, we have to let this go. If we did try to take Massam, I think the fighting over it would destroy it and it'd just be an abandoned colony. We could then pay to repair it ourselves, and if we did that, then we would gain the claim on the colony. So if it was destroyed in the process of fighting, not a big deal. We just come back later and rebuild. In which case, I probably would rather have my spy network over here on the Fields Union specifically, rather than the Jordan colonies. Let me go ahead and do that either way. Let's move my spy network. Let's set up the spy network on the capital of the fields. Find out more about them. We've got something over here. Strickland Coalition. I hate to do it because we're still on good terms, but I feel like if they're not going to willingly join us, I kind of should force the Tanners. A war with the fields isn't going to do much for me. I think everyone would join. It wouldn't be too much of a problem. But it might be able to give us a way to sort of break off somebody if we're lucky. I don't know if that's going to happen. How much of a negative is it if I ignore this? It's a lot, actually. But it's only with her personally. So she was actually the heir to the Field Union. Yeah, I don't have any indirect ways. So it is viewed as slightly negative if I do this. Well, not slightly, moderately negative, the 2. Yeah, I don't think I can do it. But it's also pretty negative if I just go after the Tanners. I can demand or ask and she'll refuse either way. If I just declare war, that's a huge problem. But she'll just say no. So if I demand, she'll say no, which would then start a war. Yeah, I mean, no matter what, we're having some issues. I could definitely get a pretty large fleet up here. If we do go after them, I think they would give up. If I were to build something instead and just kind of sit on my hands for a bit, kind of do whatever. I do want to get the Ark ship eventually, but it's just so pricey, especially if we're looking at possibly fighting a war. Is there anything actually good up here? Yeah, actually the bonus military for them. It's a hospital as well, be nice to have. You have 5 systems. I see 4, there must be 1 out here somewhere. Yeah, it's a pretty negative thing, of course. I'm going to hold off because they might get weaker, and then we can try to get them to voluntarily join. I'm trying to be fairly nice, because I'm also getting older, so it's getting more difficult for me to engage in a long war. Terrabellum's pretty well built up. Tell you what, I'm going to repair the barracks out here. And we'll kind of let the Fields thing go and see how angry she gets. And we'll kind of keep an eye on the Tanners. If they do attack Mirzam, I'm going to defend it and crush their fleet. One way or the other. If she asks for help. So we do have to rely on her asking for help. I'm assuming she would. It wouldn't make any sense for her not to. But that would give us the way to kind of move in and grab this other stuff. No wedding stuff, I think. I looked at wedding stuff before I started to record. If I could bring in somebody good. So I think I looked at Timothy's options beforehand. We've got Roxanne now. And Kelly. Just out of curiosity. Kelly's not bad. I mean, I could marry her off to someone much older inside the family already. I don't want her to leave. She's actually fairly useful. So looking at options, I would bring somebody in. She is, I think, distantly related. Yeah. Just would all. I think she's moving in all of these situations. Oh, there's one. We can bring in a pretty mediocre teenager. He's young, so he could get better. She's only really useful because she does have good spying security. And I don't have a lot of people who are that good at security. So that's the only reason I'm kind of keeping her around. If we brought you in, like, you're okay. Tell you what, we'll do that. So now I have that doofus, Terry Raymond, who's only really good at, like, quelling. Well, he's okay. He's got decent stats overall. Quelling revolts, he can run projects and stuff if we need him to. So we could have him rebuild fleets, that kind of stuff. I think there was more unrest out here somewhere. Yeah, let's just immediately send him off over here to deal with some unrest. Get at least one of those marriages done and out of the way. So I looked at Timothy, I didn't see many options. How about Roxanne? I don't want... Well, I don't know. Do I want her to leave? She's okay. I'm not even sure what she's doing at the moment. She's an okay administrator. That's about it. So she could run a project. She's probably doing one of these fleet rebuilds. Or something. So she could build stuff, you know. She's tolerable. It's a lot of much older... You would join... I mean, you're okay for a spy. There's a good tech guy we could bring in. He's currently injured, though, or is ill. Diplomat. Pretty good diplomat. Young age as well. He's from the Lens. That's interesting. I kind of like him as an option. Good diplomat, decent administrator. Sure, let's do that. We'll ask. They say sure. All right. I've got plenty of space in the family. We're only at, even with him added, now 20 of 27. Don't have any actions left. He is just kind of sitting around, but we can send him off to improve relations somewhere. Let's go ahead and just kind of end turn, see what happens. I'm kind of curious if she's going to rebel or something, but I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue for her. Flare up of dissent down there. Inherited neo-feudal. Okay. Rebellion failed. Uprising. It's going to fail, I'm sure. Yep. Spaceport damage, so they lost some ships. Okay, so long period, they were at war but no fighting. So Jordan colonies and the farmers are now fine. Maybe now he'll make a move on the breakaway faction there. Okay, so they left and joined the Lins again. That was the one that they bought previously. There we go. He's attacking Yilden. He wants support. Yeah, I'm not going to get involved. Yeah, it's none of my concern. She wants support defending. It's fine for me to refuse. Because you're not supposed to get involved in your vassals fighting, basically, so I'm going to refuse. It'll make her angry as well, especially if he doesn't win. Yeah, Farmer's won. Yilden's been retaken. She's been deposed. Don't have to worry about that anymore. It would have just made her angry at me anyway. It's not a big deal. So, held a feast. Commissioner Farmer became drunk at his own feast. So, Jana Fields, charged with avenging his crime, the disinheritance of Dr. Socrates Jordan. I don't even know who that is. Someone who's dead. Distant relative of mine, long dead. I don't really care what you think of me, so... yeah, whatever. He's demanding all kinds of things all over the place, it looks like. What's going on over here? The Baron wants support at Nair El Saif. So that's the Baron. Who are you? You're a distant relative of mine. You are probably just leading a rebellion, right? Yeah. Unfortunately, you are my relative. I'll help you put down the rebellion, fine. His sister-in-law's rebellion. Yeah, Chill can go lead that, that's fine. I'm not interested in leading a fleet myself at this point. So they put down the rebellion without too much trouble. Rebellion failed. Alright, back to fully healed. Ursula Clark, charged with avenging Fola Jarvis's crime, the disinheritance of the heiress, Rosalind Blackwell. I don't think I'd give a crap about the Blackwells. They've disinherited my grandchildren and son-in-law, so whatever, I don't really give a crap. I mean, I know she's asking and she's distantly related, but it involves the Blackwells, and they can all sit and spin, basically. I would love to conquer the Blackwells, honestly, but I can't do it without going to war with the Clarks. Baron Castillo is offering allegiance. So he wants to leave the Galloways and join me directly. That's what's going on. Why is it... because someone was disinherited. So I can accept, and it'd be fine. It would tick off the Galloways. It would make them a lot weaker as well. I don't really feel like I need to weaken the Galloways. How am I on vassals? 7 of 13, so I definitely could. Yeah, the problem is weakening the Galloways is the only real issue, and making the Galloways mad at me. He can't leave and join somebody else. I don't know why he's so unhappy. Vengeful, individualistic, and brave. So he's going to take it personally if I don't accept. What's on Wazen? There is a drone hangar down there, which is kind of cool. I'll accept. My niece wants support in the combat at Yildiz. That's odd, because she's married to Barry. So she's now the Baroness down here separately, which is kind of odd. Yeah, I'll help out. He decided to help out. Other people helping. Failed rebellion. Got a visitor. Could be a spy. Whispers within Beta Corvi have reached your niece's spies. Acting Arcos Janifield's fleet is exposed and vulnerable to sabotage. Your spy network can infiltrate the docking bays and leave them a surprise. Tempting. Does create a secret. But this guy's kind of been a pain in the butt, honestly. I mean, I am trying to improve relations with him. He is only the acting Archon. I don't like how strong they've become. Yeah, sure, go ahead and do it. Take out 8 ships. Does create a secret that can be discovered that we blew up some of his ships, which, if he finds out, is not going to make him happy, of course, as you would expect. Let's take a look and see if they're mad at us. Ore mine repaired. I could just give it to her. No, she loves me, so it's fine. She could come to me demanding it back, but it's kind of odd. The whole situation's just weird. Got quite a few people free. Anything going up here? Multiple flare-ups of dissent. Okay, so they joined the Arlanos, which is super weird, just the way it's looking. So the Burghers are part of the Arlanos. I can't demand that they join us or anything because we don't have a border. Again, they're sort of in the way of me expanding. I keep checking every turn to see if they would actually join. But I feel like something has to change. They'd have to like me a lot more, they'd have to be a lot weaker militarily, they have to lose some other territories maybe, something like that. Oh, I'm still improving relations with him, and I really don't need to be doing that. Just didn't have enough resources to kind of recall her. That's all. So I think we'll go ahead and call it there. I don't think there's anything else too crazy going on. We'll continue kind of messing with the acting Archon over here a little bit, since they've just gotten very strong. We're a bit directly more strong because I have Wazen under my control. Probably will rebuild something somewhere. Then, I don't know, once this is done, we might see if we can improve Mirzam a bit, which would give us more military capability to push into the Tanners, which might make it more likely that they would come in. Or if we just stockpile cash, they might also be willing to join if I give them a bunch of, like a load of money in exchange. So if I build up enough money, that might open up as an option. But for the moment, I think we're kind of set. Anyway, this has been more of Star Dynasties. I've been Disturbing Puppet. Thanks for coming by. Hopefully I'll see you next time. Until then, have a good one.